Hi, Ariana.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Ariana Friedlander. It's so wonderful to have you here at Shadowcliff365 celebration. I'm excited to be here with my co-host, Calvin. Welcome, Calvin.
Hi, Ariana. How are you? I'm so
doing
excited for this wonderful time that we have planned for all of our supporters, celebrating
too.
Shadowcliff365. So how are you doing, Ariana? How are you?
I am doing great, thank you, and especially good being here and getting to watch that beautiful video of Shadowcliff. It just melts my heart every time I see it. How about you?
It is such a special place. And I know that my friends consider me to be a city person because I'm from Denver and I lived in San Francisco for 20 years. But my father took us up into the mountains, and I was raised just taking trips, and my father would help me understand just nature and God and nature and energy and animals. So it's exciting to be a part of the Shadowcliff family.
I couldn't agree more. And while I didn't grow up in Colorado, my parents also instilled in me a love of nature, which Shadowcliff continues to embody for myself and my entire family. So it's fantastic that we have that shared resource to make us a community together.
It's wonderful. And this year we've been using the term Shadowcliff365. Ariana, what does that mean to you? What does Shadowcliff365 even mean?
Well, Shadowcliff is a seasonal place, right? We're only open from Memorial Day until the end of September. And so I think that a lot of people think that that means that Shadowcliff only operates during those months. But the reality is that we are doing things year round in order to have this space available to people to come and restore themselves and connect with nature and each other and heal. And so Shadowcliff 365 to me is the recognition that we have to support and serve this community year round in order to have this place that we love to come to and gather at and volunteer at and have respite at. What about you?
For me, it just means that it's something important. It's something that should be at the forefront of my mind, to support an organization that creates a place for people to come and share their groups and share their stories. And that's something that happens year round. I'm not thinking of Shadowcliff at the beginning of May. I'm thinking of it year round, and it's a blessing. So I'm going to be popping out the video right now, but I'll be back.
Awesome. It's great to have you, Kevin. Look forward to seeing you again. And I think Kathy is going to be joining us now. For those of you that don't know, Kathy is our esteemed executive director. She's so fantastic to work with. I absolutely love working with Kathy because she just brings both the heart to Shadowcliff and the sense of order and organization, which are two incredibly valuable skills for us to have. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you, Ariana. It's great to be back with you. This is like 2 times we've gotten to do this now that we're doing all the virtual goodness once a year, bringing everybody together and celebrating. And welcome everybody on Facebook and a few folks who've joined us on Zoom as well. We're learning a lot about this technology, and it's a wonderful way to get together. So glad to be here. Thanks for hosting with Calvin today.
Yeah, thank you. And that's a good point to everyone on Facebook Live. If you want to put in the chat where you are joining us from, we know that Shadowcliff has a community that reaches far beyond Colorado. And so it's always fun to see the different places that people are joining us from. So feel free to share that in the chat. And Kathy, I wonder if you can tell us what has been happening at Shadowcliff this season. You mentioned we were here just last year. I was reflecting on it. So different where we were at last year when we did this gala compared to where we are now. So tell us what's been happening.
Well, last year we were on in August, so it's been almost 1.5 years since we were doing this together. And I guess I'll mention the hard part first. So first and foremost, not that long after we spoke last time, the East Troublesome Fire went through, and of course we are so blessed and so pleased and so happy that that we were spared. Oh, here comes some great photos of what was going on during the year. So enjoy that. So the fire came through. It spared us in terms of flames, but we say it didn't spare us in terms of smoke. So a lot of our work from October through May was about smoke remediation and getting ready for a summer season. And then, of course, what happened during that as well is that COVID was sticking around and giving us all kinds of challenges to overcome, working through new policies and making decisions about staffing and groups and all that sort of thing. So the good news was we got to invite people up to Shadowcliff again. The bad news was we didn't get to have super large groups, and we didn't get to have the kitchen open. And so some of the things we're so used to didn't get to happen. But I really want to reach out and thank so much all of our seasonal staff, and especially Emily Seska, who's our general manager, for pulling us through the summer. It was an amazing effort, and we learned a lot. I also want to say that in terms of the broader Shadowcliff community, we had some wonderful things happening. Besides the difficulty of the fire and COVID, we still got to have monthly communiversities. We had about 10 groups that came to Shadowcliff, and then a whole bunch of personal and individual retreats. And then in terms of giving, listen to these numbers. This is an amazing statistic. 2 years ago, we had 6 monthly recurring donors, and now we have almost 100 over 2 years' time. Wow. I mean, it's astonishing and wonderful and so helpful. And then I also want to say that we, like the auction that's going on right now, I know we're going to be talking about it during the course of this hour, but last year was our first online auction. We had 20 packages to offer, and this time we've doubled to 40 packages. Everyone went out and really tried to up the level and really make it transformative experiences that are available on the auction. So I know we'll be talking about more than that, but that's exciting. So lots of challenges and some new and amazing things happen this year.
Yeah, and I love hearing about that because it just shows the resilient nature of Shadowcliff, that things don't go the way we expect with many different circumstances, and the community comes together and we create new opportunities together. And it's lovely seeing the slideshow and seeing things like the Gen Z retreat and other stuff that have been happening on site. And it's because of our community that makes it happen, our community and our staff. That make Shadowcliff special. So I am also so grateful for all of those contributions.
Absolutely.
I wonder, Kathy, if you could tell us what the future of Shadowcliff looks like. Where do you see us going from here?
Well, I want to just mention a couple of things specifically. One is that we are still piloting. You mentioned the Gen Z photos. We piloted a Gen Z retreat this year that was very successful. We're regrouping on that advisory council right now, and we will have more. We will have lots more lots more people joining us, and we will have Gen Z retreats. We also did a tiny pilot of a nurses retreat, which was really interesting. And we're learning a lot about that and trying to figure out how do we move forward with that. And then additionally, in terms of more of like our structure and things like that, you all are going to be seeing an archives piece that's been added to our website. So people will be able to be interactive with how we do archives, and you'll be able to see a bunch of photos and documents and add your own. That's going to be cool. We're going to be launching a formal legacy giving program soon. And that's going to help us with the long-term financial sustainability of Shadowcliff. And then also this week, we launch a new committee that is working on building a 5-year strategic plan, a formal strategic plan. So all that stuff is on the horizon, coming soon.
Yeah, and so if listeners didn't really understand what makes Shadowcliff a 365-day-a-year organization, hopefully you do now. Get a sense of that, because you just listed off so many things. And I think that it's important for our listeners to know that our staff, we have 2 part-time year-round staff. And they give their all. Kathy and Emily both do. And so it's amazing the amount that is accomplished and that we are striving to continue doing. And people have always been the driving force of what makes Shadowcliff successful. And in the past, there have been a number of ways that we've worked with different individuals or groups to find ways to support Shadowcliff. And I understand that part of what you're doing, Kathy, is also forming strategic collaborative partnershies.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Enable us to really, oh wow, that pergola looks nice. These photos are awesome. It's very hard not to commentary about all of them. But I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about what are some of these collaborative partnerships looking like, and why is this an important endeavor for Shadowcliff to embark on?
Well, like you said, and one of the key things is that we know collaboration, the energy of collaborative work is the way to go. And we have done some amazing things within our organization. I mean, you talked about 2 part-time people, 2 part-time staff, but then of course, all the volunteers, hundreds of volunteers, the board, the advisory council, our seasonal staff. I mean, it takes all of those different constituencies to make this happen. But then outside of our organization, like here's one that we've had for quite a while, is the Continental Divide Trail Coalition. We've been working with them for several years and just trying to really establish a place where our hostels are available to hikers. And then there's some new ones. So this year, in the last year or so, we joined up with the Grand Lake Creative District, and we're working on helping them to open the Rocky Mountain Folk School. So there'll be year-round opportunities for art and craft and engagement. And then we did a new one that was kind of outside of Grand Lake this time too. Through the help of one of our board members, Mary Silwans, we are starting to cross promote with an organization called the Writers Place in Kansas City. So it's just like we've had some collaborations, we're deeply working with others, and we're tiptoeing in with others, and it's all important work.
It really is, Kathy, and I'm so grateful to you and to Emily and to the volunteers that are making it all happen. It's exciting to see what's being formalized now and what we have the potential for in the future. There's so much possibility for Shadowcliff.
Amen. It's wonderful. Thank you all so much for all your help and support. I'm happy that we're here tonight celebrating, and thank you and Calvin for keeping us moving through this. It's been great.
Yeah, it's so fun. And these photos are just so beautiful. I mean, you can really see how lively it is at Shadowcliff and the healing that is occurring on site and the community that's being built there. And I understand most of these pictures are from this season. So this past season.
Yeah, lots of them are. Some are some old standby beautiful ones that we just always have to show, you know, but it's fantastic. So I'm going to sign off, and Calvin's coming back to hang out with you.
Yay.
Here we go.
Thank you. Welcome back, Calvin.
It's good to see you. Here I am.
Yay. So good to have you back.
Thank
What
you.
do you think of everything that's going on? How are you feeling about the state of things? You are, in fact, a new board member. I don't know if people know that. I recently graduated from the board this past May, and you stepped in when I left. So it's great to have your energy there. I'm curious to hear how you're settling in.
Oh, it is so amazing. I'm a new board member, but I'm not new to Shadowcliff. I've been coming up to Shadowcliff for about 10 years now, and it was an honor when they reached out to me and asked me to serve on their board. So as a board member, I took a trip up to do my own little scouting around this summer, and I met this amazing woman who just radiated energy and radiated joy. And as a person of color, I was very curious, how did a Chinese person make their way to Shadowcliff Mountain Lodge in Grand Lake, Colorado? Julia is a Chinese, was born in China, was raised in Texas, and she has an amazing story that she will share with us right now.
Wonderful.
Hi, my name is Julia Darasari, and I am from Tyler, Texas. This summer, I've been so fortunate working at Shadowcliff Mountain Lodge. Ever since I've been working at Shadowcliff and being part of the Grand Lake community, I've been so inspired. I met a lot of wonderful people and developed new friendships. Shadowcliff has been surrounded by the beauty of the environment, and it always reminds me to appreciate the moment I have here. From last year, 2020, on October 14, Grand Lake faced the devastation of the fire. Shadowcliff was one of them that was close to being destroyed completely from the fire. And this summer I was able to visit the national park, and when I was there, I was so devastated, but at the same time inspired. When I got out of the national park, I had an idea. As a young artist, I wanted to use my imagination and my creativity to create something beautiful, even when something was lost or even destroyed. So I stopped by the side of the road and grabbed some burnt charcoal from the trees and started drawing landscapes and wildlife. And I have to say, I am so honored that Shadowcliff has chosen one of my art pieces to being displayed at their lodge. With what I drew for them, it represents the ashes of the fire and what was lost. It also represents how Shadowcliff was so close to the fire. But it's also a celebration that it even survived. So with what Grand Lake and Shadowcliff had to face last year, it continued to flourish and it continued to be beautiful as it is. With that said, you guys, let's continue to celebrate Shadowcliff 365.
Oh, Oh man, Julia's story is so moving and just really gives me goosebumps to hear and see that beautiful art that she made. It really is a juxtaposition going on sometimes at Shadowcliff, and it's heightened, I think, in this last season because of the presence of the fires and the visible fire scars that are there, and also the flowers that are emerging and the life that is growing back. And I think that's the beauty of Shadowcliff is our resilient nature, and the mountains in general. We're not in charge. That's something that we learned from Bob and Judith's tenure with the Laws of Nature Trail. We know these things to be true, and we also know the importance of standing in and upholding our values. It's been something that we've really focused on at Shadowcliff as a board and among our staff. And right now, I'm really honored to introduce our next speaker, Mary Sawantz, who's a new board member to Shadowcliff as well. Mary is a fabulous person. She's a writer, she's a poet, and she brings a lot of heart and humility and truth to the Shadowcliff board, which is amazing. And she's going to read a poem to us called Aldi Troost, Troost Aldi. And Troost is a street in Kansas City, commonly viewed as a dividing line, and Aldi is a grocery store. And so I want to encourage you to listen closely to this poem. It's really moving, and Mary will tell us a little bit more about it when she starts her video.
Hello. The poem I'm sharing with you I selected because it embodies Shadowcliff values of healing, growth, interconnection, community, and affordability. Troost Aldi. Wrestling a stubborn cart through automatic doors, this refrain greets me. I'm gonna take my meds, y'all. I'm gonna take my meds. While I wander aisles, dropping what I don't need into the cart, his voice weaves through the packed store. I'm gonna take my meds, y'all. I'm gonna take my meds. An impending blizzard detours us here. 3 uniformed kids step on each other's heels, trailing their dad. A suited woman attends her list and a conference call on speaker. I'm gonna take my meds, y'all. I'm gonna take my meds. Sidestepping a family reunion in produce, he frenzies towards the refrigerators, nothing in his hands. I'm gonna take my meds, y'all. I'm gonna take my meds. As he zigzags towards the front, people avert contact, then stare, occupied with paying and bagging. I'm gonna take my meds, y'all. I'm gonna take my meds. Lines stretch midway down each aisle. College students in pajama pants shift cardboard boxes from bony hip to bony hip. I'm gonna take my meds, y'all. I'm gonna take my meds. Without breaking her conveyor belt rhythm, the clerk's voice cuts through the chatter. You waiting on the bus? He crumples into a plastic chair by the door, cradles his gray head on the blue Formica counter. I don't want nobody to get upset, so I'm gonna take my medicine. The red-faced security guard looks pensive, as though he's expected to do something. The clerk's voice comes out again, slow, real, gentle-like. All right, baby. A caress. We exhale, realize we were holding our breath. Thank you. Celebrate Shadowcliff365.
That is just so moving. And when we think about Shadowcliff, of course, when we're escaping into nature, sometimes we have very serious stories to tell and we share our hearts. But at the same time, we have a lot of fun. And this summer when I was up there, it's amazing the people that you meet. I met someone hiking across the Continental Divide, left his wife for 3 months to hike through the mountains. I found someone, a young couple, that celebrated their 1-year anniversary at Shadowcliff. And so it's really neat because you never know who you might meet.
I totally agree, Calvin. I've always enjoyed the conversations that happen around the fire there, and especially, over volunteer weekend, the people that you meet. And when you keep coming back to it, it starts to kind of feel a little bit like a reunion because you're, don't get to see some of these people except at Shadowcliff. But the stories definitely are one of the things that always sticks with me. I remember when board member Larry shared a story about, I think it was a baby elk that he befriended. And it was just a great story. I think that this elk wanted to sleep in his tent. I don't think he let it, but
That's funny.
It really, yeah, it was a great story and so memorable. I'm curious what interesting stories have you heard recently?
Well, I heard a story from a man named John De Leon in New York City that I just found amazing. And I told John, I will remember this story for the rest of my life. Here's John De Leon.
Hello, my name is John, and I am living in New York City, and I have a story to tell you that I shared at Shadowcliff at one point. When I was younger, I was a college cheerleader at the University of Utah, and after I graduated with what I consider a cheerleading degree, I hung out in Salt Lake City, and there I hung out in the bar scene, and during that time, there was a band out called the Village People. I'm not sure if you heard of them or not, but they had a song out called YMCA. With me, with this cheerleading background, on the dance floor, I would do a dance that I had made up, and it was called the YMCA dance. YMCA. And so, eventually people would, laugh and joke, but eventually people started doing it. So I had these two friends that told me they were going to Los Angeles to film 2 episodes of Dick Clark's American Bandstand, and they invited me to go. Well, they ditched me, and so they went, and so all I got to do was watch them on TV, and at that time, again, like I said, the Village People were around, so I was watching the 2 episodes, and the first episode, they, took my YMCA dance and put it on there on Dick Clark's show. And, I was a little upset, but the second week, they did it again, and this time, everybody on the dance floor was doing it on American Bandstand. And pretty soon, people started doing it all the time in, dances at weddings, all that stuff. And so I just wanted to, make it clear that I'm the one who invented the YMCA dance, and it's just a piece of information that I keep to myself, but now I'm sharing it with you. So all my friends from Shadowcliff. So do keep in mind that it would be great to celebrate Shadowcliff365.
Ariana, the music has stopped. The music has stopped.
Oh. It's just so fun. I mean, I never would have thought in a million years that the person that invented that dance was a Shadowcliff community member. How cool is that?
Can you believe that? And it's even more special to me because the very first concert I attended was the Village People and Gloria Gaynor. And I had to sneak out of my house. I told my parents I had a choir concert and I snuck off to see the Village People. So that tells you how old and uncool I am.
No, I think you just got a couple of cool points in my book.
Right.
But the age I won't argue about.
Okay. So speaking of stories, we have people that have been at Shadowcliff forever. Long, rich history that you understand better than I do, Ariana.
Oh, I don't know if I understand it better, but I do know that there are people that are still coming to Shadowcliff that helped build it. And I think that's just amazing. The stories that they have about the different parts and pieces of Shadowcliff being built, Rempel Lodge and the chapel, is so cool to hear.
Yeah, especially when you think about that, Shadowcliff was built by international volunteers. It was a worldwide effort to build this amazing, magical place on top of a granite rock. So we have people that have been around for 50 years, but we also have people that have been around just this summer. And coincidentally, our first speaker, Leslie, she stayed at Riverbend Cabin this summer. And a couple of months later, one of our new attendees, his name is Rick Shaw, he stayed in the same exact cabin. And we would like to share their stories with you right now.
Wonderful. Look forward to it.
What does Shadowcliff mean to me? My connection goes back almost 50 years. In the summer of 1972, I worked as a full-time volunteer. That experience was so wonderful that I came back in 73 and 74. 1972 was the first summer of a full-time, full summer volunteer crew. We accomplished a lot that summer, adding siding and windows on the lower level, flooring on all levels. Paneling went up on the second and third floor, whatever Warren could find on sale. The first floor ceiling went up. Another creative cost-saving solution of Warren's: angled lath and stripped lodge poles to cover the joists. I personally nailed a lot of that lath in the ceiling. Then I came as a guest. In 1985, my then boyfriend, now husband, and I vacationed in Grand Lake, staying in the lodge. I think it was a litmus test. If he didn't like Grand Lake and Shadowcliff, then no deal. He passed, and I think his attachment is almost as strong as mine. In 1989 and 91, our children, Andrew and Claire, were born. They each had their first trip to Shadowcliff at age 1, and for almost every summer from then until they both finished high school, our summer vacations were to Grand Lake. Over those years, we watched our children grow up and develop their own sense of attachment to Shadowcliff. They had their private mountain, the rise behind the fireside, and private canyon under the bridge. Though our children have grown, Stephen and I continue to make Grand Lake our almost annual summer destination. In 2020, as we lived through the first summer of the pandemic, we decided to make an August trip. We stayed at Riverbend, and it was a much needed respite during an uncertain time. And then more uncertainty. In October, the East Troublesome Fire swept in and literally took our breath away. As we watched from afar and waited for news and faced the possible loss of Shadowcliff, I realized how deeply I cared about the place. I couldn't imagine not having it to return to. Luckily, Shadowcliff was spared. This past August 2021, Stephen and I made a repeat visit to Riverbend. Although seeing the damage from the fire was devastating, there was also a sense of resilience and healing. During our last summer's trip, our daughter and her boyfriend Paul joined us for a weekend. And on a picnic at Coyote Trail with Paul's parents and sister and a surprise appearance by our son Andrew, Paul proposed to Claire. We are watching our love for this place be carried on in the next generation. So what does Shadowcliff mean to me? Its connection to family, to friends, to the people who made it what it is, to a place that feels like home, even though I'm only here for short periods. Its continuity and change. We return to the same place with the same views, but over time, we change, as does the place. And its resilience and recovery. We see changes in the landscape, from pine beetle kill to forest fires, followed by healing over time. It's a sense of being restored and re-energized, ready to go back to our daily life, knowing that I can draw on my reservoir of memories and anticipate my next return. So let's celebrate Shadowcliff 365.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rick Shaw. I live in Boulder, Colorado. And from the moment I booked Shadowcliff, even before I arrived, it was a magical experience. Driving through Rocky Mountain National Park, you slowly transcend out of the city and into nature and finally down into the beautiful city of Grand Lake. Once we arrived up at Shadowcliff, I really automatically felt the energy of such a gorgeous space, which at first was hosting a retreat that I attended. It's the perfect space for people to come together, share ideas, and put back positivity into the world. I love the fact that it enabled us to have many different healing sessions throughout our 4-day retreat. That's when I decided I must immediately book this because I knew my mom would love it. And that's exactly what I did. And Emily was so great in helping accommodate my mom who has Alzheimer's. And sometimes it's hard to find a place in nature to help bring someone who maybe can't walk as much. We just love sitting on the porch, talking, looking at the stars, and seeing what animals or creatures we can find in nature. I was even able to cook with all the wonderful kitchen supplies, so Mom and I could just enjoy even more time together, sharing, listening to music, dancing in the living room, and just escaping from everyday life. Emily was so great providing suggestions, and what I love the most is that she was able to install a handicap bar in the bathroom to help people stand up from going to the bathroom. I love Shadowcliff, and I look forward to coming back another year, another summer. Loving life, loving nature, loving Shadowcliff. Celebrate Shadowcliff 365.
Mm. I love all this love for Shadowcliff.
Isn't it amazing? This was Rick Shaw's very first time up there this summer, and he brought his mom. And when he was telling me about taking his mom into this space, it was just very, very special to me. I lost my father this summer, and you never know how life is going to turn out. So it's very important that we gather with our family and friends. And Shadowcliff is a perfect space to just commune and relax and rejuvenate and share our stories and share our relationships. It's a special, special time.
It really is. And it's a place that I think connects in with our hearts, whether it's our first time or we've been going for 50 years. We feel that heart connection with it, as both of those stories illustrated. And I am excited to welcome Skelly on to the show for Celebrate 365. Skelly is our current board chair. Some of you may know him as the general manager, which him and Judy would be the ones to welcome you often years ago for many, many seasons. So Skelly is one of those people that has worn many hats at Shadowcliff, as so many people often do. Welcome, Skelly.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And we are glad to have you. So you have something to share with us, Skelly.
Well, essentially, I'm trying to get everybody excited about, Shadowcliff and the way, what we do, and the fact that the board members, and we have 12 now instead of the 9 that we had before. We have, 4 new members, so we had 10. We have 4 new members who bring a great deal of energy and things to Shadowcliff, and the board and the staff of Shadowcliff are just working as hard as they can to create transformative experiences for our guests and for our community members. But this year and last year has been a challenge to balance our resources. And we have worked really hard to do that. Last year, we experimented with an online auction to much success. And so you wonderful people who have put all this together, Calvin and Ariana and Hannah and all the other board members, you have made it into an auction that is twice as big as the one we had last year. And it's full of unique and important experiences that are embodiments of our values. And I wanted to talk about some of those. Ariana, what's your favorite?
Oh man, if I tell, someone might outbid me.
I know, but I really like the Trail of Tears, the Kansas City Trail of Tears. I don't want to tell anybody about that. So
I agree. That one is so intriguing.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
So many things that would be fascinating to experience and uncover.
Yeah, I'm
with that one.
excited about.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, and then of course there's Where's the Beer in Golden? Is that the?
Oh no, the beer's in Fort Collins.
Okay, so
yeah, there's a beer. There's a couple in Fort Collins. There's also Fishing and Fun in FOCO.
I know.
And for that one,
is FOCO Fort Collins?
Yeah, that's the cool way to refer to it. But that one includes a stay, compliments of I will be hosting the guests, and Bob and Judith will be cooking a fish dinner, and they'll get a guided fishing tour with Stefan. I mean, that one's full of amazing.
I think they're all really terrific, and of course, then I do have a hula skirt.
Yes, I mean, who doesn't want to go to Hawaii? For
the Hawaii, and there I promised to wear my Speedo and hula skirt.
That sounds wonderful.
That should be really exciting for an awful lot of people.
You'll give yourself plenty of room on the beach with that getup.
I think that's true. I mean, I'm fascinated by all the things. So I am now, I'm one of those late bidders. So, I mean, that's where it's at anyway, right? That's
late bidder, late bloomer.
I was, well, maybe a late bloomer too. Anyway.
There's also something new in the auction this year, and that's conversations that matter. And
I love those.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different Shadowcliff community members that you can have conversations that matter with, like Harvey Stone. He has the most amazing history and experiences. He's written a novel. He's worked, I think he's done like work as an advisor to politicians. He's done a lot of work around climate change. He's a fascinating person. I think it would be hard to keep the conversation to an hour, honestly.
I don't, in fact, if you remember Bob, and I've never known him to have a conversation for less than an hour. So I have no idea how they're gonna do that. Bob Mann, of course, and Judith Christie, who have been the board, the directors for how long? 10, 12 years?
About a decade.
Yeah. And they were wonderful, and they have so much history, and there's so many things to do. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, I would like to encourage everybody to get out there and bid, and remember that this isn't we're not here for Walmart. This is here to help fund Shadowcliff. So, if it's worth $1,000, $1,200 would be better. and give us a little more fundraising. But anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I hope everybody will participate with the auction as soon as they can. And remember that it closes at 9:00 tonight on Mountain Time. Mm-hmm. And so we get a little bit later here in Wisconsin, where I am. But all they have to do is go to Shadowcliff.org and say, I want to see the auction, and that's where they'll be. So we're really excited to do that. And I want to thank the board and everybody who's put this together. This is a great time. So thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thank you, Skelly.
speaking of conversations, I'm a person that you could have a conversation with because I was the president of San Francisco Gay Pride in the late 90s, late 1900s, early 2000s. And my friends have been teasing me saying, Calvin, who's going to pay to talk to you when you will talk to anybody for free? And that's true. I will talk to you for free, but not only did someone buy a conversation with me, but he made a donation to Shadowcliff. And I just want to thank that person. And yes, the first hour is $100. After that, it's free.
And I think it's important to say, you know, we have over 100 full-time donors, 365 a year, you know, monthly donors. And if you're listening, and if you can afford $10 a month, boy, that would be awfully nice for us. You could always go higher, but you know, $10 a month would help anytime. So those of you who feel inclined to do that, please go ahead. You can do it tonight. Just say a recurring donation, and it goes on. You know, we can add in, if you can add a zero or just move the decimal point, that's fine too. I'd love to, instead of 10, get 100, but whatever you have, we would love to be able to help supply the resources we need to keep Shadowcliff healthy and happy and able to renewable and able to keep going. So
yeah, and affordable too.
And affordable.
And before you sign off,
And magical. Don't forget magical.
And before you sign off, Skelly, I'm gonna embarrass you. My father passed away in July this year, and Skelly made a personal contribution on behalf of my father, Robert Charles Gibson, from Oak Grove, Louisiana, to the Shadowcliff Mountain Lodge. So I just wanted to thank you personally, Skelly. That is very meaningful to me. And my spirit is, and my dad's spirit is at Shadowcliff. And thank you so much, Skelly.
You know, you're more than welcome.
That is so beautiful to hear. And again, that you can go to shadowcliff.org, and there's a link to the auction on the website. You can do that while the video is going. We'll just be in the background, gabbing away,
talking.
You know, we won't mind. We won't take it personally. And as Skelly said, the auction ends at 9 p.m. Mountain Time tonight. Yeah.
But the donation button doesn't end. So I keep saying donation. Thank you all very much. I want to thank everybody who's watching and everybody who's participating. This is great. Yeah. And the stories are just wonderful. Except that I've heard, you know, 200 or 300 more just as wonderful as I sit in the, as you sit in the living room of Shadowcliff and sit around the fire.
For sure. This is just a small sampling.
It is. And everybody has that story. And I mean, everybody has a really important story. The only way you're ever going to learn it is to sit down with them and tell yours and let them tell theirs.
But doesn't it seem a little bit old-fashioned that people would sit around telling stories?
Well, look at me. I'm old-fashioned. Look at
because this. we live in a society where we are on our phones. Even this right here is being projected on the internet. And it is so amazing. And that's how I felt this summer. It's like all of these people are just sitting around talking and sharing their experiences and sharing their stories. And it feels a little bit old-fashioned, but I think we need that as human beings. I think we need that.
Especially in this day and age. I mean, it's wonderful to have this technology. It's beautiful that we can connect in this way, that I can be in Fort Collins and you can be in Denver, Calvin, and Skelly can be in Wisconsin, and people are from all over joining us. It's so cool. And that sense of connection that happens in person on site is unlike anything else. And I know my trip to Shadowcliff this summer, I got to go with some girlfriends from college. And it was wonderful. I think one of the things I realized is that in the last few years, I've been introducing friends to Shadowcliff. And it's helpful to just think, who would you want to share Shadowcliff with? Friends, family, who deserves for you to share Shadowcliff with? Because they'll come and fall in love with it. And that's exactly how my friends felt that I went to Shadowcliff with this summer, and ones that have come in the past with me. It's just great that you can be the catalyst for that connection to the Shadowcliff community for someone else.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, Ariana, it looks like we're going to start to wrap up our show here. We committed ourselves to an hour, and an hour has flown by really fast. And I just want to say I enjoy seeing your smile, and I love talking with you and spending time with you and learning about your life and learning about your kid interrupting our Zoom calls. How sweet is that?
Yes, well, she's being kept at bay right now, so sorry she's not making a sneak appearance, but it helps me stay focused and present with you. And it's been wonderful to host with you and to get to know you through the Shadowcliff board, Calvin.
Yes,
so
it's been a
pleased
great
to
experience.
share that.
We would like to spend time to thank the board of directors at Shadowcliff, to thank our outstanding executive director, Kathy Baldwin, our on-site staff, Emily and Caleb, and just so many volunteers and supporters that come up and help us build things and repair things every single spring. We cannot do this without the support of the community.
It's so true. And I also want to recognize we're going to have a closing video by Shadowcliff former staff member, Brandon, who I think might be the only person that we've had on staff that has held the position of both chef and maintenance person. So
chef and maintenance.
Yes, Brandon is incredibly talented. We are so lucky that him and Alana have joined us on season a few different times. And he's also a really talented musician. So he's going to play the song that we will have to conclude our Shadowcliff365's celebration. We should do this at least once, don't you think?
Yes.
Shadowcliff365, feel the love, share the love, spread the love. Right?
Right on. Thank you, everyone.
That's Shadowcliff for you. Thanks everyone for joining.
Here's Brandon.
In a field of yellow flowers, lay me down, bury me 6 feet under. And in that field of purple flowers, lay my grandfather's bones, so I know just what I'm living for. And underneath that endless sky, we'll walk together side by side. But we know this cannot last forever. And underneath the setting sun, we'll watch each other's shadows walk on the grass that will soon be turned back under. By the cedar on the hill, I watched your hair turn long, and you said it's time for us to build a home. With an axe and a saw, I took that cedar down, and the beams are the melodies that keep us strong. In a field of yellow flowers, lay me down, bury me 6 feet under. And in that field of purple flowers, lay my Master Thomas moved here in 1879. He would plant the seeds of trees he would never see, just to feed the mouths of children he could never meet. Lived these fields front to back, but never learned to read. But when the flu came through in the middle of 1918, left the house that he built with his own two hands. But the memories that you make are gonna be your very own. So take them with you as long as you can. In a field of yellow flowers, lay me down, bury me 6 feet under. And in that field of purple flowers, lay my grandfather's bones, so I know just what I'm living for. In a field of yellow flowers, lay me down, bury me 6 feet under. In that field of purple flowers, lay my grandfather's bones, so I know just what I'm living for.